Well, first things first, welcome to this video. This is a breakdown of my biggest remix. It's had over 115,000 plays on my SoundCloud account. I think it's had over 100,000 plus on Spotify, which is under Dave Austin's profile, unfortunately, not my very own because I didn't have a proper one set up at the time, but it was remixed on behalf of Dave Austin and KCB, who did go under the duo name of Calibra or Calibre or Calibre many years ago, and offered me the track to remix, that being the legendary Broken Bones, originally by Canadian group Love Inc. Now, this has been, as I said, one of my biggest tracks, most popular, still gets found till this very day, and I'll be taking you through some of the core elements, mostly not so much the vocal, everyone knows the words to it, but the chord structure, the pads, the melodies, the plucks and things like that, so you actually have a bit of an understanding as to what work went into the track, so you know exactly what it is that you are hearing when you break it all down. So however interesting this may be, hopefully this is interesting to you all watching. And as you can see on screen here, this is the full project itself, individual components. We've got the vocal here, we've got some of the padding over here with the what do they call it, the chord structure. We've also got some melodies and riffs and hooks and all sorts of bits and pieces. So first things first, just with the vocal, we'll just hear a little bit of the vocal on its own. Classic bit of work there. Whoever resung this, very, very great, very good job on the resung a cappella. Then we've got some of the initial patterns at play here, that being the plucks, which goes like this. And that consists of C sharp, F sharp, and C sharp again on the second octave, and it's pretty much just gives it a little bit more sound. It's a C minor, as you can see there on the chord structure. That's the scale we're operating in, so saith FL Studio. Then we also have some bass line, that being the Chord organ, legendary. Everybody loves an organ, so why don't you? I also got a double layout. This is a very I don't know if it's famous, but very well-known bass line in dance music in Sydney, at least. First heard, made popular by DJ Wills's I Love You, and it is the Zeta bass line, Dance Bass 3, which people are very familiar with, and when you have two octaves playing on top of one another, sounds like this. And individually, if my MIDI controller is working, on lower octave, there you go. That's what that sounds like. That is the legendary Dance Bass 3 from Zeta. Then after that, we have, of course, the little bell hook that's come up with out of, what did I use for this again? Serum, I believe. Very simple little hook there. Nothing fancy at all. And that plays throughout the track in certain stages. And then after that, we come to the main melody, the main, I don't know, riff or whatever you want to call it, as it were. Where are we here? This is the section here. Where was it? I'm trying to remember where my bearings are right now. Was this the one? Let's have a look. Is this what I'm thinking of? Yep, that is the one. That is the main melody, the main riff, as you can see there. Just, you know, fifth playing above it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth on two octaves. And This may be a little bit mundane to myself, but even when I watch other people's tutorials or how they remix tracks, it still fascinates me what they did. Obviously, I'm not going to show you what I used or what sounds, what presets, how I made this, what I did with that, but I will let you know that I have used Zeta, as mentioned, Nexus, and Lethal is the other VST. One of my main synths that I use, Lethal and Nexus. After that, we also have this little bit up here. I think this is the other plucks, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, that's the other melody. This is the main riff. Actually, this is the actual thing I was looking for. Not that down there. That's still a bit of a saw, but this is really the guts of the track. As you'll hear, there's a bit of a change coming up now. A higher octave. That's all it is, just a higher octave. So we've got A and D, same thing, D and A, except it's inverted on this one here. So it sounds different, but it's playing the exact same thing, which is why it still works. I am not musically trained. I cannot write classical music or read notes and treble clefs and bass clefs and stanzas and pauses and rests and everything else in between. But I do have an ear. I do know when something sounds off. I know when something sounds right. And hopefully this track definitely does sound right. Now, the chord structure. Simple chord structure. Nothing fancy. F sharp, E, D, and B being the main notes here. And then if we listen to it, the chords sound like this. Of course, you can invert this one up here again and make it sound a little bit different, although still the same thing. We just moved it from the 4th octave to the 6th octave, which may sound a little bit high. So it's not the worst thing, but does have a bit of a difference to it. So that is that there. There's also a bass pad underneath. Probably can't hear, but if you have subs on or if you push your earphones in really tightly, I don't advise it, but if you do, might be able to hear the hum. Low frequency, that one there. You will need low frequencies for it. And that's pretty much the main guts of that. Then, of course, there is the main melody, which, to be honest with you, I cannot remember how I came up with this. Again, it's the same notes, the C sharp and the F sharp, and then just an E in between. Very, very different, and it just drops between the D and the E again, but it sounds like this. Very happy with that, actually, come to think of it. It's probably one of my favorite melodies that I come with before I even actually had a proper understanding of how to write melodies and riffs and things like that. It was just something that came to my mind. I had an idea in my head. I wanted to sound a particular way, and I wrote the pattern out, and then I just added bits and pieces into it, and that's why it sounds like it's got a lot going on there. So that's pretty much the track, pretty much there in and of itself. This is one of the main bits, I think. Was it here? Nope. Bit before that, this bit here. So you get a bit of an understanding as to where the track lays within. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the main breakdown of the track, intro, outro, everything else in between. Nothing else really going on. That's pretty much the main bit there. We've got the pluck, we've got the chords. We also had the bass line that went through the main riff, melody, and whatever you want to call it. There was also the main saw hook riff happening as well. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that, everything else in between. Again, once again, this bit here. Let's play it again for you. I love it every time I hear it. It sounds fantastic. So that's pretty much the breakdown of Broken Bones. Again, you can find it on SoundCloud and Spotify. Various people have posted it. But probably check out my SoundCloud. Makes my numbers look much better. Dave doesn't need any more plays on Spotify. But that's pretty much it. So hopefully you have enjoyed. And if you have, appreciate the like down below. Drop your comments. If you have any questions regarding the musical aspect or the production side of things, But apart from that, that is pretty much it. So thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you guys on the dance floor.